Hello friends. Today I thought we might take a look at a few Walt Disney World guide maps from one of the trips I've taken there. I believe this trip was from 2017. So we can take a look at Magic Kingdom, Epcot, and the Animal Kingdom. Alright, maybe we can start in the order that the different theme parks opened. I believe the Magic Kingdom opened in 1971 and was the first Walt Disney World theme park. I've been to Disney World many times and always enjoy myself. Here we have the overview of the park layout. I apologize for the glare. This paper is kind of glossy. And then we have the different areas of the park color-coded with numbered attractions and restaurants and souvenir shops. So let's take a look at the layout of Magic Kingdom. We have the entrance here, which you get to via the monorail system or a ferry boat from the Magic Kingdom's main parking lot. The other way that you can get to the entrance is if you are staying at one of the hotels that are down this path, which are not on the map. But you have the Contemporary Resort. It's probably the closest one, and it's actually within walking distance. So you would walk along this path and come to the entrance. So from the entrance we see number 1, which is the Walt Disney World Railroad. And that's also the entrance to the Main Street USA land or area of the park. And the railroad is a collection of older steam trains that run along the outer boundary of the park. And you can get some fairly interesting views along the way. From there we go through a couple of tunnels that run underneath the train station that lead you onto the actual Main Street. And on Main Street we have mainly shops and restaurants, guest services, things like that. As we continue deeper into the park, we come to the main hub system of this particular theme park, from which you can branch off to each of the other lands fairly easily. This design is called the hub and spoke layout, which makes a lot of sense, seeing it visually. And it's a central corridor that leads you to different areas of a given park in a quick and easy way. I think most visitors to the park either start off clockwise through Adventureland or counterclockwise through Tomorrowland. My family has always been a clockwise family, so we generally start this direction by walking over the bridge that leads into Adventureland. So in Adventureland we have the Swiss Family Treehouse. It's number 15. There's a ride called the Magic Carpets of Aladdin. We have the Jungle Cruise, which is a very famous and old ride. Boat ride, I should say. We have Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room. Another really famous ride, the Pirates of the Caribbean. What else do we have? We have a few restaurants. And we have the exit of Adventureland, which leads into Frontierland. So in Frontierland we have what used to be Splash Mountain that has been rethemed, and I'm not sure if it is open yet, but I think it is scheduled to open soon. I believe it is based on The Princess and the Frog now. What else do we have? We have another train stop for the Walt Disney World Railroad. We have another really popular ride called Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, which is a roller coaster. And then coming back this way, we have a little raft landing that takes you to Tom Sawyer Island, which is just a little island in the center here with a few trails and play structures for smaller kids. Coming around this way, we have the Country Bear Jamboree. And I believe there is an arcade here and maybe a few shops for pin collecting and trading and other Disney merchandise, which you will have ample opportunity to purchase. Continuing along this path, we come to the next land or area of the park, which is Liberty Square, which is kind of, I guess, based on the colonial era of the foundation of the United States. Here we have the Hall of Presidents, where you can see all of the U.S. presidents in animatronic form. We have the landing for the Liberty Square riverboat, which you would board here, and it takes you around Tom Sawyer Island on this little waterway. And it's a really large paddle boat style ship. On around we have another famous attraction, the Haunted Mansion. And I believe the rest are mostly restaurants and little fast food locations. I think this is a popular lunch area as you maybe start here in the morning and make your way around, and once you're in this general area, it's usually time to eat something. One of my favorite restaurants to eat in the Magic Kingdom is the Liberty Tree Tavern, number 39 there on the map. And if you want something a little faster, number 42, the Columbia Harbor House is also an excellent option. Continuing around past the Haunted Mansion, we come into Fantasyland, which I think might be what a lot of people think of when they think of Disney theme parks. It's sort of the main location of the Cinderella's castle, as well as some famous dark rides like Peter Pan's Flight and It's a Small World. We also have Mickey's PhilharMagic, which is a nice indoor 3D movie, which is very pleasant in the middle of summer. We have Prince Charming's Regal Carousel. And this portion is the newer section of Fantasyland. I think it's been open probably about a decade now, but it was not original to the park. But back here we have a really popular restaurant set in what is supposed to be Beast's castle from Beauty and the Beast, and the Be Our Guest restaurant, which is a very large restaurant with different themed dining halls inside. You also have another major attraction that was added. That is the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train roller coaster. It's a very family-friendly roller coaster that's a lot of fun, but it is a very long wait, usually. In this new expansion, they also added a Little Mermaid ride called Under the Sea, Journey of the Little Mermaid. And we also have the mini adventures of Winnie the Pooh. And all throughout Fantasyland there are various shops and restaurants, both quick service and more of a sit-down restaurant experience. This little top corner area, I guess, is technically still in Fantasyland, but it's themed more like a traveling circus. And this is where you'll find the very popular ride, Dumbo, the flying elephant. For very small children, seem to love that. You also have the Barnstormer, which is a smaller, kid-friendly roller coaster. And there is a little water feature area where kids can splash around and generally get wet, called the Casey Jr. Splash and Soak Station. And also here we have the final train station for the Walt Disney World Railroad. So coming out of Fantasyland, we walk into Tomorrowland. Which again, this map is from 2017, so there is a very large omission in it, which sits, I would say, about here, which is the new Tron Light Cycle roller coaster. But in 2017, that did not exist yet in Walt Disney World. But we do have the Tomorrowland Speedway, which is a sort of go-kart type track where younger kids can drive small cars around a track that has different lanes with guide rails for the cars. We also have a very popular and famous ride, Space Mountain, which is an indoor dark roller coaster. And we have one of the oldest attractions in Disney history, which is the Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress. In the center of Tomorrowland, we have the Tomorrowland Transit Authority People Mover, which is a nice little slow elevated train ride around the Tomorrowland area of the park. It actually goes through Space Mountain, so you can sometimes see the ride vehicles going up for one of the drops. And on the same platform above the People Mover, we have the Astro Orbiter, which are, I'm not sure what you would call that type of ride, but basically you sit in little rockets that just go in circles. But the main draw of this is that you are high above Tomorrowland and you get a really good view of a lot of the park. We also have Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin. And a few other smaller attractions and restaurants. And that leads back to the main hub of the Magic Kingdom, and again from there you can visit any of the lands that maybe you want to revisit or exit the park down Main Street. One pretty cool thing about Cinderella's castle is that you can walk through the middle of it to get from the central hub to Fantasyland, and it's a pretty neat view from there down Main Street looking this way, and just a nice little shortcut, assuming there are no entertainment shows happening at the moment. So that was the Magic Magic Kingdom in 2017.